Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the first official video for my Prehistoric Zoo Beta build. This will be the park that I do it in. I've decided to name the park Zaluki Prehistoric Park. As far as I know, it does not have any meaning in any language or anything like that. I just saw the word Saluki and I changed the S to a Z. And there we go. Now, a Saluki is a kind of dog, but I don't think Zaluki is anything. If it is, then, so be it. But, yeah, so what I'm building here is basically, the entrance area. And this is probably not actually going to be what it looks like in the end. And I can actually tell you now, it won't even look like this, in 5 minutes from now. Because I'm constantly changing it. Mostly I was just trying to see what different designs, patterns, colors, all that kind of stuff look like. So I kind of change it frequently throughout this build or throughout this video. And it's probably going to continue to change for a little while until I get this area done. But I wanted to have at least a basic, area to build around. So that way I wasn't guessing where the entrance was going to be. So I'm just basically cordoning this area off, and then I will, make it look cooler at a later time. But right now what I wanted to focus on is I wanted on each side of the entrance area, what I want to have is an observation area. As you can see there, the floor pieces don't do, or they didn't do what I wanted them to do, which is what, the sidewalk does. If you use the terrain tools by the sidewalk, it doesn't lower the sidewalk, which is awesome. So I like to use that as a barrier. As you can see, it works pretty well. It does kind of screw with the terrain a little bit. So, covering up is quite necessary. I'll end up covering it up with a gratuitous amount of rocks here soon. But what I want to have is on each side, I want to have a platform that extends out over into an enclosure. On this side, it's going to be the Camarasaurus. And on the other side, I'm not sure. I might just do Camarasaurus on the other side as well. So that way, either way, and maybe even try and figure out a way for them to get across, maybe behind where the entrance is. Kind of off in the back where you won't normally see it. Maybe put some trees up and they can go around through the back to get in. We'll see. That might be a little grand. Who knows? But basically, each side's going to have a patio like this, and they will overlook into the enclosures, and I especially wanted to do this with the Camarasaurus because I have it set up at the height so that they can kind of look in, and in fact, because you can't set an enclosure boundary, they can just stick their head right in. But we can ignore that for right now. They don't do it too often. But I thought it'd be really cool if you're standing right here on this patio and you're looking out in between this mesh. And there's the Camarasaurus head right in front of you. We have very similar things like that at the zoo where I live with giraffes. And you can stand on these platforms and you can feed them. You can sign up for feedings, or you can just hang out and see them, and they'll just come right up to you and try and nibble your hair and stuff like that. So which is pretty cool. So kind of the same thing, except the Camarasaurus can't touch you. So throwing some flower beds in, just kind of, trying to make the place look nice. This is one of those things where I'm terrible. I am a terrible planner. Even in a game like Jurassic World Evolution, where things are a little bit more basic because you're not building your buildings piece by piece. Even that, my planning abilities are terrible. So I end up being okay, let's do this and do this. And then I'm well, man, I should have done it the other way around. I should have built these flower beds first and then put in the railings, but whatever. It wasn't too bad, but I think I just ended up not going at them as much as I probably would have. I was trying, at multiple points I tried to put trees in and it just didn't look right. But whatever. I mean, I really do wing it a lot of times when I when I make these parks. When I started building this, my only thing in my head was that it was going to be a platform into an enclosure. I didn't even know what it looked like. I wasn't even imagining black bars or anything like that. I didn't even know that this glass like partitions existed, like the modern looking stuff like this, and that one wall that has the big opening. Like I just clicked on, like, I was looking at the different like variations and stuff, and it's really cool. Like they give you a lot of different like wall variations and stuff like that. And the modern one, which is a lot of the modern stuff is what I really like. Like I'm big on like black and glass and stuff like that. I'm one of those people. So the park might have kind of that modernistic look to it. I had been contemplating doing like a log cabin style kind of thing, but I've seen like multiple YouTubers like doing that kind of stuff. So so I'm veering away from that, and we're gonna do like a modern park. I'm gonna take a look at like some more modern architecture stuff and just like have an idea of you know, design ideas and stuff like that. But for the most part, I am gonna like wing it, and I wouldn't be surprised if like 2 enclosures in it's changed to like a different look, because you know, like I just don't plan, and I just kind of fly by, especially since I don't have a ton of time to play this versus like some other games that are a little easier to throw together. So I don't just sit around like planning things, but I doubt anyone does. But I don't know. So yeah, so we're in the gratuitous number of rocks phase, and I'm just gonna, you know, I'm not gonna go down up and down like this whole thing right now. Eventually, I imagine this whole side will have rocks, some sort of rock face, but it'll kind of depend on what I do. But yeah, just laying out the rocks in different shapes and sizes. There's going to be 5 Camarasaurs in here. And, you know, the more that I love it when I put plants on the ground and then they end up on the, like, the level above it, too. That always cracks me up. But I think the more I think about it, I think I will do more Camarasaurs on the other side. Just because that way the you know, the look is the same, like, you know, and they're looking in. Although, oh, now that I think about it, maybe the other patio will stay on ground level, and then you could have like Parasaurs or Edmontosaurus or something like walking up to it. So you'd still have, it would still be the same height. It just wouldn't dip down as far. It would just be more of a flat and then slow incline. And then you could have the Parasaurs or something like walk up, and then, you know, it'd be that same like face-to-face thing, but it would be at 2 different heights. But because of how the layout of the land is, you'd still have like, you know, the same height for the building and stuff, which I don't know if any of that makes sense. If it doesn't, you'll see on the next video probably. You know, so a vast majority of this is just decorating this area. Like the only thing that I consider like finished at the end of this video is maybe this patio and like the right side of this river fork. Like that's it. Like, you know, I was just getting to the point where like I had enough footage for a video. Like I try not to make my speed builds go too long, but with Prehistoric Kingdom they're gonna go much longer than my Jurassic Park or my Jurassic World ones. I imagine like these are gonna be in the 20-minute range. I think this one's going to be like 18 minutes or something like that when everything is said and done. Whereas, you know, I try and keep my other speed builds to like 10 to 15 minutes. So these will be a little bit longer, but there's also, you know, it takes more time, way more time to build. I think all told what I did on this, it took me like 4 hours plus a few ideas. Now, as I'd say about 3 hours plus a few ideas that didn't work out. So whatever time was like spent on some ideas that I scrapped because they just didn't look right and they weren't working. So, I mean, I guess that's not too horrible because I was like just sort of, you know, winging it. But one of the ideas I did scrap was actually right here where this T-Rex is. And originally I wanted to have a water fixture, pond, whatever, that went from here underneath the patio to the other side, and it worked. It would go under the patio, but it was totally screwing up my rocks on the other side, and I spent a lot of time placing those. I wasn't about to give them up, like it, because the water, you know, kind of like how it does in Jurassic World, it pushes the land out, so the land went past the rocks that I had there, and when I tried to pull it out, it looked terrible. So I scrapped that idea. That's one of those things where had I pre-planned it, I probably could have made it work because I could have put the water down, put the patio on top of it, and it would have looked like it was, you know, going underneath the patio, and then I could have made the rock face. But, you know, you live and you learn. I'm gonna try that sort of look in a different area. Like I'm gonna re-examine that idea at a later date. Now that I have it thought out. I don't know what it is, but I have so much trouble with those skulls. Like I cannot get them to face the right directions. With this, I'm just playing with some light. I decided we were gonna have a pink Tyrannosaurus at night, which I think it looks pretty cool. I love these round lights. I think they're really cool the way they work. And then I remembered I don't have power anywhere. There we go. We got a pink T-Rex. We're going to have some green lights in here eventually. So at nighttime, it's going to be a really kicky, like, happening place. Oh, yeah. I have to have some logs. I like the logs in this game. Even though they're mostly hidden in these plants. But it's kind of just trying to make it so that they just stuck out a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to get some lights in here. And I do a little bit more with this roof. I'm really bad at roofs. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've lived in apartments most of my life, and so I never really look at ceilings that aren't like, you know, like flat ceilings above me. So, like, I think I just haven't seen enough undersides of roofs. But I'm terrible at them. Like in Fallout, I would have these huge elaborate settlements and flat roofs everywhere. So, and it's kind of what I've got going on here at the moment, but I do kind of put some little peaks on there. But I did want to I wanted it to look open. Like, I don't want it to look like enclosed in glass. Like, I want it to look open-ish at the very least. Like, there's airflow in here. Oh, one thing, there was at one point where I stopped for, like, lunch, and I missed some footage. Part of it was building these rocks. Like, I just forgot to start recording again. Oops. Part of it was throwing down these rocks. Another part of it was there's like a chain mesh cover on the front of the patio now, and you know, that's to kind of have a real world like barrier. You can kind of see it there. It's not the best thing. I wish there was a finer mesh or something like that, but so far this is the only mesh or chain link I can find. Like, you can see through it pretty well, but it's definitely like really glaring. Like it's there. It's obvious it's there. So maybe there's a finer tool somewhere. The rocks I put down there just as a, one of the Camarasaurus is kind of meandered. You know, these guys don't meander too far. This one's walking in place. They don't go too far. Like, I don't have any fences up right now, and they don't go very far. I put the rocks there, one, just to kind of keep them in, but two, I think what I'm going to do is actually build a bridge over that part of the water. And that way, like, you can cross over it. You can see the Camarasaurus on your way to another exhibit. And basically, like, from this building, you'll have 3 paths. One that will go over the Camarasaurus, one that'll go over the other side's enclosure, and then one that'll go straight out to other things. So, now we're just getting some vines and stuff. I just felt like the rocks were just big and gaudy and just needed some color on them. I probably made that one row of vines like a little repetitive. Kind of looks unnatural, but you know, I can go back and tweak that kind of stuff. And there's probably some tweaking I will do, like, outside of a video, like where I just, you know, realign things, straighten things, add some finishing touches that really don't need to go in a video because it just makes things longer. I mean, even like this kind of stuff probably didn't need to go in here because I did spend a while like trying to align that stuff perfectly. It's kind of funny when I watch like my own speed builds, like for Prehistoric Kingdom. I'm always amazed. I'm like, oh, I actually sometimes look like I know what I'm doing. But I really don't. Like, I really don't. I'm just slapping things together and seeing what sticks. But yeah, so there's like a little bit of roof up there, but I did want it to have that open feel. But this is what the half-finished product looks like. Like, that side over there is not finished. That hatchery is not going to be there. That one that was meandering over there, like, that's the farthest I've ever seen one of them go from where I've put everyone so far. So, like, I'm not sure what the AI is, like, programmed to do, like if it's programmed to only go a certain distance from food or water or something like that. But yeah, so those rocks, that's about where I want to put like a bridge that crosses over the enclosure. This guy's like, he's kind of getting frisky. I did have one go over to where that walkway is over there, and I just kind of put that there so that people would walk through and I would just have an idea of where they stand and meander and look at different things. But I think I might have gone a little heavy on the flower or the plants in the water. So obviously that part that I just went through it's gonna change like completely, or not necessarily change completely, but obviously it's gonna be finished out more. I meant to put like benches and stuff in here and I forgot. Oopsie. But yeah, so that's what it looks like. It's the sun's starting to set and the dinosaurs are roaming, and this was actually perfect. Like this was a perfect opportunity to kind of show like how it works. You got the dinosaurs walking by, and if you go, they look, I love that Chimera skin is so awesome. Both of them, the male and the female. The female's just darker, I think, but look at this as they like, yeah, this fence could definitely be different, and I'm gonna try and I'll probably end up changing it. But look at that, look at him or her. I'm not sure if that's the male or the female. I have one male and like several females in here. But look at that, just walking right by, and you can almost like reach out. Honestly, with the size of those holes, you probably could reach in there and touch them. But yeah, so this whole area is obviously going to get finished out. It's just there as a placeholder. So I have an idea of, you know, the entrance sides, and then this is our pink T-Rex. And yeah, that'll do it for this video. So as always, I appreciate you checking it out. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. If you want to leave a like or a comment, I always appreciate it, and always try and get back to you guys. And I will obviously be back with more Prehistoric Kingdom real soon. Until then, have a good one.